Hi everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday. And if you're new here, welcome in. This is a channel where we talk about some of the new releases, reissues, and represses that came out this week, today, Friday, or just in recent weeks, and they've trickled their way in now. And we always start with a pick of the week, and my pick this week, it had to be, of course, the Beatles Revolver. And this is a reissue here from Capitol, and there are many, many ways for you to enjoy this. The first up here is just the stereo. It's a new stereo mixed by Gilles Martin and Sam Okell, and this comes to you on black vinyl. Okay, so that's just the singular LP. But as I said, there's many ways for you to enjoy this. There's another way, and this includes the Revolver album. It's in this box because you get this tote bag with the original artwork there, which is just so great. And you can get it that way. That would make a nice gift if you know somebody at Christmas time that would love to have that. That would make a nice thing. Then here's your big boy here. This is boxed set of, okay, let me see. This one's the Super Deluxe 4 LP edition. This is the new stereo mix. Plus, there's 2 sessions LPs of outtakes, rehearsals, demos, and studio chat, which is always great if you're a purist and you just like to hear how things were from the inception. That's always like a great thing to have. It's got the original 1966 mono LP in here, 180-gram vinyl, plus a 7-inch bonus EP with Paperback Writer and Rain in new stereo mixes in the original 1966 mono. There's a 100-page hardback book here with a foreword by Paul McCartney, extensive historical and track-by-track information, rare photos and memorabilia. That is hefty, and that is just about got everything you could possibly want. And it's got a sister edition on CD. Okay, and that one is much the same with what it houses, but it's a 5 CD edition. So it's got the same things as the vinyl, but just on CD, okay? Very, very nice package here, beautifully done. And if you want, you can just get the CD, of course, and then there is the expanded 2 CD edition that also has the Paperback Writer and Rain stereo mixes, a few other things, but anyway, if for a Beatles fan, this is like paradise. There's so many ways to, they're making it available for us to enjoy this record, and it's it's such a good record. Revolver has everything from Taxman to Tomorrow Never Knows on here. It's been newly mixed, as I said, by producer Gilles Martin, son of George Martin, and Sam Okell, sourced directly from the original 4-track master tapes, and the audio is brought forth in this stunning clarity with the help of this very cutting-edge technology that was developed by the award-winning sound team at Peter Jackson's Wingnut Films Productions Limited. Of course, Peter Jackson, you know, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff, right? Now available, 180-gram vinyl, all this. So beautifully done. That is my pick for you this week. Now, I'm going to post the list down below. It's pretty much in alphabetical order. You'll notice on there are some things that we're just not going to talk about because we have limited time here. We're already going into minute number 4, and I have a stack of great things to tell you about, so let's keep it moving. But you can go by the list, and if it's running long for you on the video, please do feel free to skip ahead and find anything that you might want to hear about. You don't have to hang in there for the duration, but for those who do, here we go. Y'all ready? Okay, so first thing we have up is called A Day to Remember. This is Common Courtesy every time. Okay, Common Courtesy, and this is on the Epitaph label. This is the 5th album from A Day to Remember, and it's reissued on both CD and double vinyl for the first time since 2016. Newly packaged and includes updated cover art and pressed on lemon and milky clear vinyl with this die cut. These C's are die cut into this cover here. And so it's since its initial release in 2013, they've gone on to amass like over 500K in total sales and includes some of the band's biggest hits, Right Back at It Again, and Sometimes You're the Hammer, Sometimes You're the Nail. So over the course of the past several years, each Day to Remember releases, they've hit number 1 on Billboard's rock, indie, or alternative charts. They've sold more than 1 million units racked up over 4 million Spotify streams and 500 million YouTube views. God, they've garnered 2 gold-selling albums and singles, and they've sold out their entire tours. And anyway, their global fan base are in the millions. So here it is for you. Okay, next up. This is Abraxas. This is called Monte Carlo, and it's on Suicide Squeeze. This is the debut LP from Danny Lee Blackwell and Carolina Farulo. And here's the sound of like late 60s garage meets surf guitars, pop and psych, Cumbria rhythms, dub bass, and tropicalia. So it's like a real eclectic mix of sounds that they've got going. This is on pink vinyl, okay? Then we have... all right, Backstreet Lovers, Waiting to Spill. This is on Polydor. Utah 4-piece. Their self-released debut album was called When We Were Friends, and it landed back in 2019. And it became, very word-of-mouth success. So anyway, with streams now surging past the 200 million mark, Polydor Records, they swooped in there and signed these guys. This is a classic about face, trading in the more guitar-heavy sounds of their debut, for more dense arrangements, acoustic guitars, lighter sound. It's a wonderful record, and one that shows the band more than just a single like TikTok sound. So this is on clear vinyl. Okay, this one is Frankie Ballard, Rhythm Blues Party. This is on Sun Records. Frank Ballard brings the party to Sun Records' 70th anniversary. This is the sticker for their 70th stuff that they put on there. Anyway, celebration of this newly remastered Rhythm Blues Party. He was nicknamed the Golden Voice, and he brings each track to life with his powerful vocals, backed by the Memphis-based Philip Reynolds Band. This was originally released in 1962 and last pressed on vinyl in 1981. This special version here pressed on white vinyl, again for the Sun Records 70th anniversary. Okay. This is the Bangles, ladies and gentlemen, the Bangles, and this is on Omnivore Recordings. This is a compilation album released by the Bangles on Thanksgiving Day in 2014. So it was released independently on the band's own Down Kitty label and was initially released on digital formats, and it compiles all of the band's early material before they were signed to major label Columbia Records in 1984. So it was eventually released on CD and vinyl in 2016 by Omnivore. Then remastered material included, it spans the years from 81 to 84. Compilation includes band's debut independent single Getting Out of Hand from 1981, as well as 5 songs from their debut self-titled EP released in 82, both which are considered rarities and have been long out of print. 10 Bands, One Cause, launching for Breast Cancer Awareness Month here on limited pink vinyl. And there you go. Okay. This is, I think there's actually more coming, but these are 3 reissues of Big K.R.I.T. titles. Okay, so this one is King Remembered in Time. This is a limited edition, 2 LPs. These are all through BMG Rights Management. So this was the 10th mixtape by this American rapper, Big K.R.I.T., originally released in 2013 through Cinematic Music Group. The mixtape has guest appearances from fellow rappers like Bun B, Future, Trinidad James, Wiz Khalifa, Smoke DZA, and Big Sant. Then there's Return of Forever. This is a 2011 self-produced official mixtape originally released in 2011. Mixtape features guest appearances from Chameleonaire, Raheem Devon, Joy, Big Sant, and fellow Mississippian David Banner. Then we have Forever in a Day. This one, okay, so, Big K.R.I.T., Mississippi rapper, producer, he originally released this for free, digital download in 2012 under independent record label Cinematic Music Group. The mixtape was released in anticipation of his debut studio album, Live from the Underground. Okay, so all of these reissues are out now through BMG Rights Management. Okay, this next one is the Black Keys. This is Thick Freakness from Fat Possum. Second studio album from the American duo. Black Keys, originally released in 2003. It is their debut release for the Fat Possum Records label, and it continues in the Black Keys tradition of raw, heavy blues-influenced garage rock. And some songs like Set You Free on here, they kind of won this pair some mainstream success as being featured in the soundtrack of the 2003 film School of Rock. They had heavy comparisons to the White Stripes back then. Then they often were compared that way in music media. So most of the album was recorded in December of 2002 during a 14-hour session in Patrick Carney's basement, using an early 1980s Tascam 388 8-track recorder. This approach was necessary because they had spent their small advance payment from Fat Possum on rent. And so the liner notes claim that this is Carney's patented recording technique called medium fidelity. The result is more of a vintage sound. So the song, one of the songs here, Midnight in Her Eyes, is one of the few Black Keys songs they used a bass guitar. Dan Auerbach dubbed the bass line by playing a Guild SG-style bass through a guitar amp into the song part of Set You Free. It was recorded by Jeff Saltzman. The album includes 2 covers, Have Love Will Travel by Richard Berry and Everywhere I Go by North Mississippi bluesman Junior Kimbrough. Okay, this is Apollo Brown and Guilty Simpson, Dice Game, and this is the Mellow Music Group. It's a collaborative studio album by the Detroit-based producer Apollo Brown and rapper Guilty Simpson. It was released online independently under hip-hop label Mellow Music Group in 2012, set to a musical bed of orchestral snippets and some very tasteful soul and R&B samples. Guilty maintains a relaxed, low-key flow as he spins yarns about his life. One for hip-hop purists, indie exclusive Splatter Edition. Don't really know what the color of that Splatter Edition is. It just says Splatter Edition. So that's an Easter egg for you, okay? All right, next up, Kelly Clarkson, When Christmas Comes Around. This is on the Atlantic label. So Kelly Clarkson, obviously Grammy-winning global superstar. She announced When Christmas Comes Around on vinyl. It's her 9th studio album via Atlantic, and this was really, it came out in 2021. So the album explores a wide range of holiday emotions and experiences anchored by her vocal prowess, from the show-stopping duet Santa Can't You Hear Me featuring Ariana Grande, to the very beautiful ballad Merry Christmas to the One I Used to Know. The album also features a very cheerful standout song called Glow featuring Chris Stapleton, and a fabulously bold lead single Christmas Isn't Canceled, Just You, which was deemed sassy bop by Entertainment Weekly and infused with empowerment by USA Today. So anyway, When Christmas Comes Around captures how different the holidays can be for all of us during the varying stages of our lives. And she says that she hopes everyone can find something on the record they can relate to. Hopefully the happier songs, but if not, you're not alone. So there's 3 bonus tracks on this as well now. And let's see, there's one, Under the Mistletoe, featuring Brett Eldridge, which I believe is another country artist. I'm not real familiar. And anyway, All I Want for Christmas Is You and Christmas Eve. We're going to start seeing more and more Christmas albums. You know that, right? Okay, The Crystal Method, The Trip Out. This is on Tiny E Records. This record has pioneering American electronic act The Crystal Method looking to the future and embarking on collaborations with some of today's most exciting and musically diverse artists. Now, basically, the Crystal Method is Scott Kirkland. He's competing for and representing his native state of Nevada here. He was joined by an all-star band featuring players from Nine Inch Nails, Rammstein, A Perfect Circle, and more. So the 6th full-length album is full of nuances through cinematic storytelling meant to create individual memories for the listener. And this comes to you on white vinyl. Okay. Then we have Daisy the Great, All You Need Is Time on Hollywood Records. Brooklyn, New York-based indie pop band Daisy the Great. Their new record here. Aluminum was actually the last song that they wrote for the album, says Kelly Nicole Dugan and Mina Walker. They wrote it with a friend of theirs about self-perception. It's the feeling of time moving forward and taking a version of you with it that you don't feel connected to, as if your social persona or personality, some shinier version of you has taken over and you don't know how to be your real self anymore. Blah, 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 whatever. There's a 7-inch flexi record with this too. I don't know how I feel about this Daisy the Great, because there is already an artist called Daisy that is superb, and I feel like this kind of muddies the water for people discovering Daisy World, that Daisy. And so, I don't know, you guys. I ain't keen. The Damned, A Night of a Thousand Vampires, live in London. This is on the Ear Music label. So on October 28th of 2019, The Damned took the stage at the Palladium Theatre in London, and for this very special immersive musical and theatrical experience. So A Night of a Thousand Vampires, it teams the band with the Hammer House of Horror, the cast of the Circus of Horrors, and an evening of shock, awe, and fierce live rampage through their 40-year rich catalog. It's a night to remember for those of us amongst the living and the undead. Following their formation in 1976, The Damned, they were the first punk band to officially release a single, New Rose, and an album, Damned, Damned, Damned. Now, we talked about Damned, Damned, Damned last week. You remember on yellow vinyl, we had that one. So we talked about how they were the first. That's kind of why they're the godfathers of punk, really. So with 10 studio albums and 7 UK chart singles, the band are pioneers who emerged from the London punk scene, earning an ever-expanding fan base fueled by legendary live shows. This first pressing includes a concert poster, and it says that on the sticker for you there. Okay. And I'm assuming this is just on black vinyl because I don't have anything to the contrary about that. Okay. This is Dark Throne, and this is called Astral Fortress, and it's on the Peaceville label. So it's a new stellar and eclectic journey of old metal in the Dark Throne Odyssey. From their formation back in 1986 to becoming one of Norway's finest musical exports, with a number of highly revered black metal masterpieces released in the early 90s, helping to solidify their legacy. You all know that I'm all about the Norwegians, and so, you know, I always got to give a shout out to any Norwegian band. Dark Throne has continued to evolve and challenge in equal measure throughout their illustrious recording career, spanning over 3 decades now. And the ever-productive duo of Nocturno and Fenriz continue their own metallic saga with a new selection of fine vintage-sounding headbanging classics in the making here. Okay. This is Dawes, Misadventures of Doomscroller on Rounder Records. This is a 10-inch box set here. Okay, so their 8th album really is what this is. It's a prolific 13-year run that they've had. It makes it clear that in proximity to expansiveness has finally rubbed off in a record that means no end to a song before its time. Now, Dawes, they've always kind of been on the circuit for festivals, but they're always like put in with jam bands, even though they're not really that way. Their songs have been more about, you know, the typical stuff. Indie rock, the guy's voice, he sounds very much like Jackson Browne. It's had that, you know, very easy appeal to it, and relatable songs about relationships. Well, anyway, this album really turns a corner for them because this is really allowing the band to stretch. The guy's name is what? Taylor, do I have his name written down here? Taylor, something like Gold something. Anyway, he's allowing his band to stretch, and these are jam band type tracks on this. And kind of gone are the songs about life and relationships, because this guy is now happily married to Mandy Moore, and he's living the family life, you know, doing that. So he's letting the members of his band just fly a little more on this record, and the way that they do live. Okay, so it's an album that is kind of about dystopianism, kind of becomes like a nice 46-minute tonic for it. This is on brown vinyl, and yeah, I don't know how I feel about the 10-inch thing. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's cool. Okay, Dead Cross too, on Epicac Recordings. Dead Cross is back with their second release, simply entitled 2. It's an experimental blender of extreme music, just such as hardcore punk and various types of metal. Band features well-known musicians. Mike Patton does the vocals from Faith No More and Mr. Bungle. Dave Lombardo drums from Slayer. Justin Pearson, the bass from Swing Kids, The Locust, and Michael Crane, guitar from Retox. This is on Counterfeit Gold, vinyl, or the indie exclusive is called glass coffin colored vinyl. Noted on the stickers, okay? So there you have it, new one from those guys. Explicit lyrics, just a little warning for you. Okay, then we have a reissue of Death Cab for Cutie, the photo album on the Barsic label. Now, this is the 20th anniversary. There's a deluxe edition and a regular edition. Both are on clear vinyl. The deluxe edition is 2 LPs, beautifully remastered, and pressed at RTI on 180 gram clear vinyl. The limited deluxe edition gatefold package, there's 4,000 copies worldwide. It also includes a bonus 12-inch EP of the new 33 RPM Carvalho Nino Hernandez master of the Stability EP, okay, and a 11.5 12-page booklet and separate insert containing, for the first time in full, LP size, all the photos from the original first pressing 2001 double CD artwork, okay? There's an MP3 download here that has both releases, plus all the digital-only bonus tracks. Or there's the 1 LP version on clear vinyl. Then they both say clear vinyl, and this one tells you all the extras. This is the deluxe here. So you got to read the stickers. Now, we did get sent some of these extra booklets that are inside the deluxe. So even if it has just artwork and liner notes and stuff. So even if you buy the single one, we can still give you a booklet. Okay, so we do have those on hand. Okay, next up, Neil Diamond Christmas on Capitol. It's a new compilation curated from himself, highlights from his 4 best-selling Christmas albums. The tracks were personally selected by Diamond for his collection. They're taken from September 1992's The Christmas Album, October 1994's The Christmas Album Volume 2, October 2009's A Cherry Cherry Christmas, and November 2016's Acoustic Christmas. So the highlights from those on this new one. Okay, next up is Dinosaur Jr Beyond. This is on Pious Recordings. Beyond, it's the 8th studio album by the alternative rock band Dinosaur Jr. It was their first LP in a decade after 1997's Handed Over, and the first album by the original lineup since 1988's Bug. So here it is in all its low-key glory. The music aged naturally along with them. You can get this on purple and green vinyl, or purple and green vinyl plus a 7-inch, and that is noted here on the sticker for you. The 7-inch is What If I Knew, backed with Your Son. Okay, so you have to get that information by looking at the stickers. All right, this is Exodus, Persona Non Grata. This is through Nuclear Blast. When we think of the phrase bonded by blood, we think of 2 things: a brotherhood that's meant to outlast the trials of war, pain, and time, and the almighty Exodus. With a bond forged in youth and decades-old friendship, this undisputed masters of thrash metal return with their 11th studio album, Persona Non Grata. So for decades, Exodus has impressed us with the ability to attract opposing factions to their music because of its intensity and versatility. So they don't fall into the usual recording slump that most bands of this genre gets stuck in. So they gathered at Tom Hunting's house up in the mountains. They avoided the need to book studio time or adhere to a certain schedule. They worked from 3 home-built studios. They recorded Persona Non Grata themselves with help on mixing and mastering and engineering. This is a picture disc double that you get here. So there you go, their 11th studio. All right, this is cool. This is Foo Fighters, The Essential Foo Fighters through Legacy Recordings. This follows the band's 2009 Greatest Hits album, as well as the 2021 studio album Medicine at Midnight. So the compilation also marks the first major Foo Fighters release since the death of drummer Taylor Hawkins in March. So this one is a physical-only release that features hits like My Hero, Everlong, and Best of You. It's over 2 LPs, and the thing I really like about this is it has Everlong, but is the first song on side A, and it's the acoustic version is the closing song on side D, which that acoustic version of that song is just amazing. This is Fred Again, Actual Life 3, January 1st through September 9th, 2022 on Atlantic. So this is a groundbreaking artist and producer, Fred again. Today he announces his new album, Actual Life, here. It's the third in his hugely successful Actual Life trilogy. So he's building on a template already laid down with his debut LP and following up with the Actual Life 2 after that. So anyway, this one sees him resume his diary-esque approach to production. His intimate use of voice notes from friends, videos found while scrolling on Instagram, samples of important records in his life, kind of serves as a personal record of his life experiences, offering insight into his world over the past year. People love this stuff, so he's definitely selling. It's an autobiographical body of work that both references and pushes forward the heritage of UK electronic music. Very much a standing testament to the power of music in facilitating catharsis, healing, and celebrating the realities of friendship, love, and life. So that probably should have been on colored vinyl, but it's on black. This is Future, I Never Liked You, on Epic Records. Future releases his 9th studio album with features from Drake, Kanye West, Kodak Black, and more. So with production from TM88, ATL, Jacob, Southside, and others, this album comes just 2 years after Future's platinum-selling album, High Off Life, and his Pluto times Baby Pluto collaborative album with Lil Uzi Vert. Okay. This is Ghost Funk Orchestra, New Kind of Love. This is on Coal Mine Records. Their third album, New Kind of Love, resonates like a soundtrack to a scene from an imaginary movie. The music could score a romantic drama or an action thriller or a modern twist on a classic film noir. The spare cascading vocals accentuate that lush instrumental orchestrations that are composed, performed, and arranged and produced by multi-instrumentalist Seth Applebaum, whose latest brainchild was conceived and conceptualized during the great pause of 2020, a time of tension, bewilderment, and isolation. It encompasses a reverence for the past without attempting to recreate it. You can get this on black or red vinyl or CD. And I believe these stickers here are going to tell us, are they? Okay. Here's the red dot signaling that one is the red vinyl. And it looks to me like that is a limited edition of 3,400. Okay. Then we have Hermanos Gutierrez, El Bueno y El Malo, and this is on Easy Eye Sound. And this is a two-piece band formed by the brothers Alejandro and Esteban Gutierrez. Taking influence from 1950s Latin America sound, they transfer the listeners to journeys through beautiful landscapes. This is an indie exclusive limited edition of 2,500, blue and white opaque marble vinyl. Says it right on the sticker, which we love. Okay, this is Sammy Hagar and the Circle, Crazy Times on UME. This is a brand new studio album from Sammy Hagar and the Circle. So you've got Sammy Hagar on vocals, Michael Anthony on bass, him being from Van Halen also, Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son, on drums and percussion, and Vic Johnson on guitars. So this is a robust collection of songs for Sammy Hagar. His singing has not only sounded this good since the 90s, but the band is exceptional, and everything is recorded, mixed, and mastered to perfection on this. This is the best, is it the best Sammy Hagar album to date? No, probably not, but this is a remarkable album for a rocker with a catalog as vast as his. So, also looks to be black vinyl. All right, this is Hath, All That Was Promised. This is on the Willow Tip label. Hath set out to expand on what they did with previous releases, experimenting more with varied sounds and new ideas, but now more direct and cohesive. In the end, the record came out darker and more punishing than they had expected, but this album is more personal and introspective, with songs about enduring change and the promises made to us in life, broken or otherwise. This is a gatefold sleeve, and it opens out to a double vinyl. One is like a marbled, kind of a mauve and black brownish looking smoke vinyl, and the other disc is purple opaque. Okay, this is part of the Rocktober series. Now that we're running almost to the end of October, we're still having Rocktober releases trickle in, but whatever with it. This is In Excess Shabu Shuba, the third studio album that was released in 1982. This is part of that Rocktober series on limited edition ultra clear vinyl, and it will say that on the sticker for you. Also, In Excess The Swing, fourth studio album released in 1984, also part of the Rocktober series. Buy the sticker. This one is released on what they're calling Blue Jay opaque vinyl. It will say that on the sticker. Next up is Chris Isaak, San Francisco Days. This is part of that Sun Records, probably for the Sun Records 70th anniversary thing. Anyway, this was the fourth album by Chris Isaak, released in 1993. This album's sound was more upbeat than that of its predecessor, The Darker Heart-Shaped World, and that had Isaac's breakthrough hit Wicked Game on it. This is an RSD Essential on red vinyl, and I think that the hit on this one, that was that Can't Do a Thing to Stop Me, which is just beautiful. And there's other things on here. I'm not real familiar with all the hits of Chris Isaak, but there's a few great tunes on there. Okay, this is Caius, Blues for the Red Sun through Rhino. Also, Rocktober series. Second album by American rock band Caius. It was released in 1992. So while this album received favorable reviews, it kind of fared poorly commercially, only selling about 39,000 units. And it had since it's become this very influential album within that stoner rock genre, legendary stoner rock, in fact. And it's limited edition 30th anniversary on gold marble vinyl. This is Black Ladybird, Black Acid Soul. This is through BMG Rights Management UK. So this is very understated and utterly haunting. It's while reflecting influences as varied as Billie Holiday, Gladys Knight, Tina Turner, and Chaka Khan. Los Angeles-based Lady Blackbird. Her name is Marley Monroe. She possesses a style and emotional intensity that is very much her own. Her debut album here represents a wholly fresh take on jazz vocal as an idiom from an artist blessed with a bold and unmistakable voice. You might want to try this for something different. She's wonderful. Okay, this is Mac Dre, Genie of the Lamp, through on the Thiz Entertainment label. This is San Francisco Bay Area rap legend Mac Dre as another of his alter ego rap personas, the Genie of the Lamp. It's a doppelganger of Ronald Reagan, yet they share the same voice and interests: food, fame, females, fat, foo, and fetty, not necessarily in that order. So 15 tracks make this counterpart to Mac Dre's other election year 2004 release, Ronald Reagan, Dragonomics, production by Tone Capone, Mac Dre, Genesee, Showman, One Drop Scott, Trax, Harm, Jonah Whale, Psycho, Rob Lowe, and others. It's X-rated in a gatefold sleeve with unique marbleized colored vinyl, one teal and one purple, limited to 1,000. First time on this marble colored vinyl. So there you go. All right, this is Joni Mitchell for the Roses through Rhino Warner Records. Now this is newly remastered by Bernie Grundman under the supervision of Joni Mitchell. Whoops. For the Roses was her fifth studio album for this Canadian singer-songwriter, Joni Mitchell, originally released in 1972. In 2007, it was one of 25 recordings chosen that year by the Library of Congress to be added to the National Recording Registry. For the Roses is perhaps best known for the hit single, You Turn Me On, I'm a Radio. Now, if you haven't been following along, if you're new here, for example, and we're saying newly remastered by Bernie Grundman, who the hell is Bernie Grundman? Well, he is an American audio engineer, and he is most known for his mastering work at his studio, Bernie Grundman Mastering, which he opened in 1984 in Hollywood. And I'm telling you, this guy is the kingpin. He remasters all the best of the best. Every time we talk about him, it's for like a major league artist and their album. So very much respected, very much knows what he's doing. And that's why we bring him up. All right, this is Mickey Murray, Shout Bamalama, also Sun Records, part of that 70th anniversary. Inspired by Otis Redding and James Brown, Mickey Murray created his own groovy brand of Southern soul. His first hit, the horn-heavy Shout Bamalama, brought him out of obscurity and into soul stardom. So Shout Bamalama and Other Super Soul Songs was originally released in 1967, has been newly remastered to celebrate Sun Records' 70th anniversary. Mickey covers a full range of soul, Get Down with hit records, Slow Down with Treat 'Em Right, and Rock to East of Nowhere. This is an RSD Essential on exclusive opaque white vinyl. Okay, then we have Dolly Parton, A Holly Dolly Christmas. From Warner Records. Now, this is an interesting record in that she had this Smoky Mountain Christmas was originally featured in her 1986 holiday film of the same name. So this is the new collection, includes 2 other songs from the movie, I'd Like to Spend Christmas with Santa and Wrapped Up in You. So Holly Dolly Christmas debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top Country Albums when it was originally released in October of 2020. On several songs, Parton is joined by guest performers, including Michael Bublé, Billy Ray Cyrus, Miley Cyrus, Jimmy Fallon, Willie Nelson, and her late brother, Randy. So the album produced 4 singles and a top 10 adult contemporary hit that was called Cuddle Up, Cozy Down Christmas with Michael Bublé. And 3 Candles and The Wish Book, originally released as digital-only bonus tracks, will make their debut here on this Ultimate Deluxe Edition. So the new collection also features the digital debut for Something Bigger Than Me and Silent Night, songs that Parton contributed to the 1997 animated holiday film Annabelle's Wish. So the final bonus tracks on this Ultimate Deluxe Edition is Baby It's Cold Outside, Parton's top 5 adult contemporary duet with Rod Stewart from his Grammy Award-winning 2004 album Stardust, The Great American Songbook, Volume 3. This is on white vinyl, and it's all this deluxe version. It's got all these obscure, rare things all packaged together on one thing. So you have everything together. And this is a double, and yeah, there you go. All right. Next up is Queen, self-titled, Hollywood Records, the eponymous 1973 debut, Queen, nominated by Dave Grohl as his favorite album of all time. And it was recorded at the same studio that Bowie was using for recording Ziggy Stardust. And because they didn't have any money, the album was recorded during Bowie's downtime. So Queen were literally recording this at 3 a.m. after Bowie had gone to bed. Queen is this is their heaviest album. It's influenced by The Who, Hendrix, Led Zepp, and contains some of their hardest rockin' songs, and also some of their most imaginative. Like all subsequent Queen albums, no 2 songs sound the same. And there are mixtures of light and shade, and the band teasing 1 minute with a lullaby and then blowing your head off the next. So it's on 180-gram half-speed mastered black vinyl. All right, this is Rival Schools, United by Fate, Run for Cover, on the Run for Cover label. This is the debut album by American rock band Rival Schools. They're a band comprised of members of other influential underground bands, mostly from the New York hardcore scene. However, Rival School fits more into that alt-rock genre instead of the hardcore one. So, of course, since all the members draw from the New York hardcore scene, the influence is obviously there, but every song shows off intensity each band member possesses from their previous endeavors, creating an alt-rock sound that, you guys, it just kind of tires out. There's not a lot of great reviews about this album. The sound just revolves around a frenzy of crunchy guitars, and I think that, most people kind of agree that it's like, it's played out, okay? So I don't know, you have to see what you think. This is on red vinyl, and interesting if nothing else, okay? And it's not that it's a terrible album, but it's just kind of like, been there, done that, okay? Darius Rucker, #1s. This is through Capitol Nashville. This is Darius Rucker, of course, of Hootie and the Blowfish fame. He's released a 10-track vinyl of songs that went to #1 on the country charts. It's on red vinyl. There it is. Okay, next up is Sepultura, Against. This is through BMG Rights Management UK. A classic album, back on vinyl, half speed mastered on 180 gram. It was the 7th studio album by the Brazilian metal band Sepultura, released in 1998 through Roadrunner Records originally. It is the band's first release with new frontman Derek Green, who replaced group founder Max Cavalera in 1997. Again, here is Sex Pistols, Nevermind the Bollocks through Warner Records. It's the only studio album by English punk rock band Sex Pistols, originally released in 1997 by Virgin Records in the UK and by Warner in the US. The album has influenced many bands and musicians, and industry in general changed when the Sex Pistols hit the scene. This is a limited edition on neon green vinyl, and that will say it for you right there on the label. Okay, this is Susie and the Banshees, All Souls. This is on the Geffen label. So Susie handpicks 2 sides of chillers from the Banshees 80s catalog here. It's an uneven 10-track mix of hits, actually. It's LP tracks and B-sides that don't so much make you feel especially spooked as you just kind of marvel at the Banshees' many nuanced evolutions. They had like a so steady stream of guitar players throughout their career that came in and out, and all that's represented here. It kind of collates classic tracks and rarities into this kind of autumn celebration, I guess. All the tracks have been remastered at Abbey Road Studios, with Susie overseeing the process, and cut at half speed by Miles Schoell. The collection features new and unique artwork directed by Susie, featuring Marigold, and it's the symbolic flower of Mexican Day of the Dead, All Souls Day festivities, which this album is named for. This is on 180 gram black vinyl. This is Slapshot, greatest hits, slashes, and cross-checks on Radiation Roots label. While having a continuous revolving door of members, Boston's Slapshot is still running after nearly 2 decades, carrying the hardcore flag and daring anyone to step up and try to take it from them. With that said, it also takes a lot of guts in punk, in the world of punk, to do a greatest hits album. But Slapshot are able to pull it off without the corniness and often accompanies, those kind of things. But the current lineup has gone back into the studio to record all hardcore anthems again, and a couple of new ones for the older fans. It includes a double-sided poster insert with liner notes by Jonas Kimball on limited gray vinyl. Okay. This is Slayer, Repentless, Nuclear Blast. For more than 3 decades, Slayer's onslaught has proven the band to be the supreme thrash metal band on the planet. 2-time Grammy-winning band has also accumulated an abundance of certified gold albums, along with a lot of best rewards from media outlets. Let's see, this is on Oxblood and Orange Swirl with Mustard Splatter, 3,000 copies worldwide, or Beer and Mustard Swirl with Red and Brown Splatter, limited to 1,000. And it will tell you here, this one is the one that's limited to 3,000. And this one is the Beer and Mustard's limited to 1,000. Okay, you got to read the labels on those. Okay, this is Sodom, 40 Years at War, Greatest Hell of Sodom. On the Steam Hammer label, 40 years of ruthless thrash metal made in Germany. So what came into being in 1982 has lost nothing of its authenticity and rawness, not even 4 decades later. So they cover songs unaltered here. That's to say, in exact same key as the original lyrics. They went and re-recorded the same thing. This includes 17 tracks of newly recorded by the current Sodom lineup, okay? And so back then, of course, they're better musicians than they were back then. And so the songs are tighter and more up to date, and they just wanted to do that. But the arrangements were deliberately kept unchanged. So at first they just wanted to be in a band, and the music was almost an afterthought, but we were against everything and against everyone, wanted to shock the world, and the more people that hated us, the more motivated we got. So nobody would have expected that 40 years later they're still alive and playing. And this is on what looks to be clear and black splatter double vinyl. Okay. This is a new Regina Spektor, Home Before and After. It's on the Sire label. So Before and After is Regina Spektor's 8th studio album and most quintessentially New York in years. It was recorded in upstate New York. Then it was co-produced by Regina Spektor. The album is her at her most inspired, heralded by Becoming All Alone, a surrealist ballad that swells with arrangements that come alive as the way that she delivers them. So during the summer of 2019, she completed a successful 5-night Broadway residency and making her debut on The Great White Way. The Daily Beast called the run both whimsical and thunderous, and she was delighting people on Broadway with this fun and kind of zany show, but her most recent album, 2016's Remember Us to Life, has been the subject of extensive critical praise from the likes of NPR, Entertainment Weekly, New York Magazine. So Regina Spektor is kind of synonymous with New York City. She's a Russian Jewish American singer-songwriter and pianist, and she got her own sign on the Bronx Walk of Fame, as well as Regina Spektor Day, which is June 11th of 2019, proclaimed by Mayor Bill de Blasio. This is exclusive ruby red vinyl, and nice to have her out of post-quarantine and writing new songs and having something new out. Very cool. Okay, this is, again, would be a nice gift if you are into buying box sets for people for presents. Various artists, Bound for Hell on the Sunset Strip. This is on the Numero label. Now, the Numero group, they're frequently Grammy-nominated, Chicago-based label known for crafting expertly researched collections featuring rarities, out-of-print, and often forgotten musical subgenres and artists. And they shined the spotlight on the halcyon days of the early 80s Los Angeles glam metal with Bound for Hell on the Sunset Strip. Artists featured include scene heavyweights like Armored Saint, Black and Blue, Lizzie Borden, alongside long-lost tracks from Reddit Kilowatt, Angelus, Max Havoc, Sin, and Romeo. Bound for Hell and the Sunset Strip also pays particular attention to female musicians who challenged the kind of testosterone-laden world of the strip with entries and recollections from Lisa Baker, Jaded Lady, Leather Angel, Helion, and Bitch, featuring 21 tracks by 21 of the Sunset Strip's most razor-sharp heathens. Available as a 2 LP box set with an Affirma stuffed gatefold and 144-page hardbound book. Really cool, historical, awesome box set. Okay, then we have Tom Waits' Alice on the Anti-label. So this was the 14th studio album by Tom Waits, originally released in 2002 on Epitaph. Alice was loosely based on Lewis Carroll's obsession with Alice Liddell, the girl who inspired Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. Alice, says Waits, is an adult songs for children or children's songs for adults. It's a maelstrom of fever dream, a tone poem with torch songs and waltzes, an odyssey in dream logic and nonsense, which I love that description. Anyway, 20th anniversary edition here is pressed on 180-gram metallic gold vinyl. Okay, then we have Faye Webster, Car Therapy Sessions Through Secretly Canadian. An EP of new and reimagined songs by Webster recorded at Space Mom Studios with a 24-piece orchestra. So these orchestral arrangements of songs from her most recent albums are drawing on old Hollywood drama to expose the emotion of her words. And this is on walnut brown vinyl. All right, this is World Party Egyptology on Seaview Records, and this is the 4th studio album by World Party, released in 1997. 2 LP set, actually slightly expanded. Tops, we give high praise to frontman, one-man band Carl Wallinger for putting 5 live tracks on side 4. They were recorded live in New York City in 1997, rather than giving you like the dreaded etched disc side of just wasted space for a double. So like all of his prior albums, he wrote all the songs, wore the producer's hat, and played all the instruments, with Chris Sharrock joining the party on drums. Okay, beautiful record. Love World Party. Okay, you guys, I hope you found something wonderful. We're reaching the 50-minute mark. Gotta go. Let me know below if you have anything that you're excited about. Love to hear from you. And thank you so much for joining me. A list will be posted down below, and I'll see you next Friday.